Hi guys, it's Olivia here from Olivia's Catastrophe, and today I'm going to be doing a book haul for you. And basically a DVD haul, because there's quite a few DVDs in this one. Now, if I'm going to be honest, I've been a very good girl this coming month. I haven't bought too many books, which is great, because I'm trying to save up to go somewhere in the summer. So I haven't bought too many books. But, okay, I'll explain later on, but basically I have a lot more ebooks than usual. Now, usually in the book haul, I only try to include DVDs, if I bought any nail polish, and printed books that I've bought. I try not to include ebooks because, to be honest, I get a lot of ebooks and I talk about those on my written blog instead, which the link is down below, and I usually don't talk about ebooks on here. But the thing is, this month, mostly I've been getting review copies as ebooks, which means A, I haven't been spending money, like I planned not to, and B, it means lots of good books are there. So at the end of this video, I am just going to be speaking the titles of the ebooks, so you can know what books I've been reading in ebook, and when I like a book in ebook a lot, I actually go and buy the printed copy. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, the first thing I'm going to show you are some DVDs, and I'm going to run through these. I was at a market called King's Day Market in the Netherlands. It happens once every year, and basically you can go on the street and sell your stuff for really cheap prices. So each of these DVDs only cost me €1, and if I can say as much as I can say, I think that was a pretty good deal for lots of these movies. The first one is It's Complicated, which is kind of a romance. It's supposed to be a humour-like romance, and it's about this couple who are kind of old, but they're falling in love once again. I think that's what it's about. It sounds like what it's about. So there's this one that I'm looking forward to watching very soon. The next one is Dirty Dancing. Now, this movie is a really popular movie. I've heard a lot of great things about it. My sisters do have it, my older sisters, but they're in university, so they took their copy with them. And I thought, it's just €1, so what? I love dancing movies, and I think that this one is going to be a brilliant one, if I may say so myself. So I'm looking forward to trying out Dirty Dancing. The next one I saw the face on it, and I was like, I have to get it. And it is Hancock by Will Smith. Will Smith and superpowers. Will Smith and superpowers. That's all I needed to know. I was definitely going to buy it. So Hancock, €1, yeah, in my bag. And then there's this one which I'm really excited for, and that is Too Fast and Too Furious. Now, I have watched Fast and Furious 1. I actually own it. And I've watched Fast and Furious 7 because my sister really wanted to see it in the cinema, and I wanted to spend time with my sister. So basically, now I'm going back, and I'm actually going to get them in order now and watch them. But apparently this one is disjointed from the main storyline of the movies. But whatever, I really can't wait to watch it. This is the one I'm most excited to watch, and when I saw it I was like, yes. Time to move on to my printed books. There's not that many. I think there's about 5, maybe 6, or 5.5. We'll see why. And I'm going to start showing you them right now. The first one, once again at the market, it was only 50 cents, which is cheaper than the DVDs, and I was like, yes, I will get it, because the author is Stephen King, and it's Bag of Bones by Stephen King. I haven't heard of this book before. Not at all, but it's Stephen King, you guys. I don't know what this book is about. I have no idea what this book is about, but it's Stephen King. And I haven't tried a book by Stephen King before, ever, so I was just like, 50 cents? Psh, psh, I'll buy it. So I bought it. Next book was a free book for me, and I'll explain why. It is Joanie. Yeah, it's just called Joanie, and it's by Joanie Erickson, and she is a woman who took a dive in a swimming pool, and her head hit the bottom of the swimming pool and paralysed her entire body. She cannot, I'm not quite sure about the details, but apparently she can't use like the lower half of her body, her back's been affected, and she basically can't do very much. And I've watched the beginning of that movie and I was in tears because it is a true story and it's just something so devastating to have. But the thing is, Joanie did not give up. She kept going with everything. And this is a book about her life and how she kept on going and hope, and just, I think I'm going to cry reading this. And it's just a true story, which always affects me the most. She's a big inspiration for my little sister who is disabled, and because she's such a huge inspiration to her, for her birthday, she got this book. She already had this book, but she got it, but she hasn't read this one yet, actually, and she got it with some quotes and pictures and new edition. It looks lovely, but because she didn't need her old edition, she gave it to me. So I'm actually going to read this one, even though it's worn down and old. I just can't wait to read this one. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And the next one I got on my baptism, I was baptized in March 2015, this year, on Easter Sunday, and it was an amazing experience. It was just literally amazing, and it was such a good thing to do finally. And after being baptized, I got some presents which I wasn't expecting, and one of them was this. It's Psalms, Poetry on Fire. It doesn't say who it's by, but basically it's the Psalms in poetry form. Now I'm gradually reading through the entire Bible right now. I haven't reached Psalms, but when I reach Psalms, I'm going to read the actual Psalm in the Bible, and then I'm going to read the poetry version Psalm, and then I'm going to do the half a book that I was talking about. There's this beautiful leather-bound book that goes with this one, and basically they match up, but in this one, if you can see, there's like discussion, and there's also a place to write your own thoughts, and it's just absolutely beautiful. It is beautiful. So I'm going to like get the actual Bible, get my poetry songs, get this leather-bound book, and I'm just gonna be so happy. So I can't wait to do that. And I just really have to thank she's my primary school librarian who got this one for me. She was one of my biggest inspirations to reading, and she keeps inspiring my reading even now, so I just have to thank her so much for that. The next book I am so excited for. I'm going to start reading it today. This was the one where I actually went online and actually bought it this month, and that is Fairest by Marissa Meyer. Now, for my Fantasy Favourites readathon that I ran on my blog a couple months back, my book that I was featuring like questions for and activities about was Cinder by Marissa Meyer, and I hadn't actually read Cinder yet, so I had to speed read Cinder, which was not a problem because it was amazing. And then after that, and during the readathon, I speed read Scarlet and I speed read Crest directly afterwards, and now that I've got this one, I'm probably going to finish it in a day or two, and it's just, I can't wait. This one is the Queen Levana's novella. Like, this is a pretty big novella, Marissa Meyer, and it was the novella story about how she became evil and her past and what she is now. So I am so interested in hearing from the villain's point of view and knowing like how she became as evil as she is. So I'm so curious, and I so can't wait. I'm gonna like start reading as soon as I'm done with this video. Now, I read Claudia Gray's vampire series. I forgot what the series is called. When I was younger, much younger than this, and I was like, that was great, but now I think about it, it was kind of meh. But I have this book. I read this back in November. I had an advanced reader's copy on my Kindle. So I read it before it came out, and I wrote a review on my blog, link to that below. And now I had to buy the paper copy because I loved it so much and I read it in a couple of days, and I just had to get an actual copy of it. So I'm actually going to reread this one before I actually put it on my shelf and maybe do a video review once I've like had my thoughts refreshed and everything. And have you seen this cover? This cover is gorgeous. Okay, so that concludes this video, but before we go, I just want to tell you about a couple of ebooks that I've got review copies for. Actually, these are all review copies, and I'm actually looking forward to reading them so much. The first one is The Tattooed Heart by Michael Grant, and if you know me, you'll know I'm a huge fan of the Gone series. The Gone series is my everything, and The Tattooed Heart is the second one in his new series, and the first book is The Messenger of Fear. I do not have it, but seeing as I have a review copy of that book, I am now going to get the review copy of that one. The next one is Angel Fall and World After by Susan E, and I've just heard amazing things about it, mind-blowing stuff, so I'm probably going to speed read through those. Biggie by Derek E. Civilian is about, well, being big, and interesting subject. I'm going to read that one. The Rest of Us Live Here by Patrick Ness. I've never read a book by Patrick Ness, and people tell me that Patrick Ness's books are amazing, so I'm going to try this one. We've also got Dangerous Lies by Becca Fitzpatrick. The story is kind of the same as before. Heard about Becca Fitzpatrick, haven't read her book, Hush Hush, because it sounds so much like Twilight. So I'm going to try Dangerous Lies and see how that makes me feel. And then we've got Violent Ends, which is by multiple authors, and one of them is Mallory Blackman. When that review copy came through, I was jumping up and down in my seat, because basically it's about not a serial killer, but some kind of mass killer. Maybe that's called a serial killer, I don't know. And instead of hearing about the victim's point of view, you're going to be hearing about his life and how he became the man he is, the man who becomes the killer. Do you know how interesting that sounds? That sounds super interesting. And Mallory Blackman is a part of these authors, so I was happy to get that review copy. The next one is Persuasion by Martina Boone. I have a review copy of Compulsion, which is the first book in the series. Everybody has loved it, so I'm hoping to love it as well. And I'm going to read both of them very quickly. Ice Like Fire by Sarah Rashk. I don't think I pronounced that right. But the covers to both of those books are amazing. I've heard brilliant things about Snow Like Ashes, and I just need to buy the first one so I can read this one. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. A Madness So Discreet by Cindy McGuinness is a young adult historical fiction, and if you know me in historical fiction, we are best friends. So I was like, I'm going to take this one. And then there's The White Rose by Amy Ewing, I don't know. And that is the second book in the Jewel series. And I haven't read the first one, but I'm going to get a copy so I can read this one. And I've just heard good things about this series once again. So that concludes the book haul. And thank you for listening to me witter on about all these books and some books that I don't actually have a copy of. That must have taken some time. So thank you, and I'll be back with plenty of reviews on these books, on those movies, and also on the ebooks. So I'll see you soon, you guys. Goodbye.